Wednesday, but now we got this quote from J.Lo. So she said, "You have to be born in New York to be a New Yorker and in one of the 5 boroughs." Mace, what's your opinion on that? How do you define somebody as a New Yorker?
What's your take?
You have to be born in New York to be a New Yorker. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, I know everybody
agree.
wants to claim the city.
No, I know.
Everybody wants to claim our city, but you have to be born in New York. You have to be born in one of the 5 boroughs to be a New Yorker.
Well, here's the thing.
Okay.
When I moved here in 2012,
Yes.
everyone was like, in 10 years, you can call yourself a New Yorker.
Oh, is that what they said?
Yeah, and then I stayed 10 years.
Said no New Yorker ever.
No, the New Yorkers used to have this as a rule.
That was a rule?
Yes, you didn't know about this?
No. I didn't get the memo. I did not sign the petition.
And you're the official big dog in this. I'm serious. Here's my question.
Okay.
Let's say I've been here for 50 years. I'm 90 years old. And you go, "Are you a New Yorker?" And I go, "No."
I have to say no. You live in New York. You take on characteristics of New Yorkers, probably by that time. You have a New York sensibility.
I pay New York taxes,
You pay... Yeah, you pay New York taxes.
but I can't call it.
When you're born in New York is when you're really a New Yorker.
So if I've been here for 50 years...
What did I just say? Do I need to say it? See, this is very New York right here.
You would ask me this because I'm not born in New York, but I lived my whole life there. So according to J.Lo, Harlem World is a fake, you know?
According to J.Lo.
According to J.Lo is subbing me. Okay. J.Lo, let me stop. Love J.Lo. I don't know how to feel about that. I think if you didn't go to kindergarten there, if you didn't go to elementary there, but if you've been there since kindergarten all the way through high school, at what point do you say a person is not from there? If they didn't go to high school there, they're definitely not from there. But if you've been there since kindergarten, pre-K, all the way through college, where are you from then? I see what she's trying to say, but you know, I'm definitely from where I'm from.
You said I'm definitely.
But Cam says my Social Security, my Social Security says Florida though. Your Social Security says Florida too, Stat.
It does.
So where you really from, Stat? Are you from Jacksonville?
There was no confusion on where I'm from because everywhere I named was still Florida. What are we talking about? Hey,
I know,
that was
it's
never up for
different
debate.
J.Lo got you feeling uncomfortable, huh?
He asking me.
Like behind that statement, man.
I'm screaming.
J.Lo got bigger stuff to think about, but I ain't gonna be.
Oh my gosh.
She got murder in his feelings, man.
Nah, you know I love J.Lo. J.Lo, shout out to J.Lo. J.Lo was in a big video with me. I was in a big video with her, you know, and she was a mega star at the time. Thank her for showing up and adding to the legacy, you know. Shout out to J.Lo. I don't have nothing to say about it. I want to hear what Killer got to say.
We'll hear what Cam says, then we'll go back to you, because I'm sure you have more. She could be a mega superstar, but you could still be like, yo, I'm from New York. Like, 2 things could be true.
I didn't know this was about me, Dad. I didn't know.
I mean, it wasn't, but if the shoe fits, like, if the shoe fits.
Gaslight me, you want me to lose it? Okay, let Cam go. I see you gaslight me. Okay, go ahead. I'm ready.
Go ahead, Cam.
I think my personal opinion is we had this conversation not on the show, but the other day. Like maybe it was on the show. I don't know. To me, you have to go to school from at least kindergarten and high school. Like to me, not even kindergarten. Like more from like 4th grade to at least 12th grade. Like they gotta know you somewhere. Like because we talked about. If Michael Jordan, he's born in New York, but he's not a New Yorker. You know what I'm saying? He's not a New Yorker. Then you say somebody like Carmelo Anthony. He's born in New York, but to me, it's up to him. I'm not trying to tell Carmelo where he's from. I don't mean any disrespect by this, but he didn't really grow up as a teenager in New York, because we was talking about this about. They're like, yeah, we got Carmelo. We was talking about superstars from New York. Actually, I think it was on the show. And Carmelo didn't play high school or junior high school in New York, because if he did, everybody'd be talking about, yo, we gotta go see Melo play. Yo, we gotta go see Melo play. Same thing they did with Lance Stevenson. Same thing they did with Sebastian Telfair. Same thing they did for Felipe Lopez. Same thing they did with Lenny Cook. Same thing they did with all the, Stephon Marbury, all the NBA stars we had, not just NBA stars, other players that we had that just didn't make it, that you'd be like, oh, now I gotta go see Sherwin Anderson play, he nasty. Or I gotta go see Booker play. You talk about people from New York. I'm just talking basketball wise. Secondly, I think you could be, it's a difficult question, because you could be from New York, but niggas don't really know you from New York. Like Alicia Keys is from Harlem. Mace, have you ever seen Alicia Keys in Harlem? I'm just asking, I haven't, growing up.
Never in my whole life.
Exactly, Harlem's not that big. So is Alicia Keys, like, because she was downtown taking piano lessons or whatever, that doesn't take away her credibility for being Harlem. What's Nas' baby mother name?
Khalees.
She supposed to be from Harlem. I'm not saying she's not. I never seen Khalees. I never heard about Khalees. Have you?
I never seen a lot of people that say they from Harlem. Here we going with that. I never seen.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying, and not just not seen. It's people, because don't get me wrong, Harlem is real territorial, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but you could live on 140th and be like, I ain't fucking with them 141st Street niggas. Like, it's literally
But you know of them.
No, that's what
you never knew of.
No, I'm getting to a point. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
40th to 141st Street is literally a 40-second walk, if that long, but you be like, that's them niggas. But to Mason's point, what I was about to get to is that you heard of people, especially if people were doing stuff. Now, I'm not saying you heard of everybody. Now, maybe and I don't want Khalees or Alicia Keys take this wrong way, because maybe their parents had them doing good things, they had them not in the hood and everything else. So I won't take it away from them. But when you somebody from New York, the name rings out. Niggas know about you about one thing or another when you somebody from New York.
They knew me everywhere. They knew you. They knew me everywhere. There ain't nowhere.
Yeah, I'm talking about even just realistically, like, even if me and Mace never got cool, I seen Mace standing on a corner at 8 years old. Literally, not even exaggerating, 8 or 9 years old with like 20 niggas who was way older than him. Like, I'm just being honest.
They knew me in the gambling spot. They knew me in the drug spot.
Because the thing about it is, I used to have to. I lived on 140th Street, across from Woolworth, but I had to walk. When at that time, the closest McDonald's was on 132nd Street, so I had to walk to McDonald's with my mom or my uncle or whatever, and I used to walk by like, what's this little kid doing with my age with all these other people out here at this age? So even if I didn't know Mace, because I didn't know him at the time, I used to be wondering, why is this kid out here with like 30 people that's 17 years old? Yeah, because I wasn't allowed to walk to McDonald's at this time by myself. I had to go with somebody.
So some people
to answer your question, there have to be a final answer to your question. I don't think it's true that you have to be a New Yorker, be born in a New Yorker.
Yeah.
I'll just be more specific. It's niggas that's from my block that wasn't from my block. They moved to my block, but we claim them.
Yeah.
It's about if niggas claim you. Yeah. It's about if niggas claim you. That's how I feel about it. Now, if niggas be like, man, we ain't fucking with that nigga. Man, come on, nigga. Niggas that claim you, they claim you like you one of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be honest with you, Mace is not from my block, but my block claim Mace like he's from my block. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you ask niggas from my block, Mace is from my block. They took him in. Like, nah, we fuck with the nigga. He's from my block. You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion on that. It's about if niggas claim you, and not only claim you, you've been there long enough to know everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very, very good point. Because as you could see, this went both ways. There was a lot of people agreeing with her, saying like, yeah, like you have to be born in New York. And then a lot of people were like, but Jenny, we haven't seen you from the block. I don't know how that's supposed to
That's
go.
a good one, because I never heard her. No disrespect to J.Lo. I love her. I lived in the Bronx. I don't know. I'm not gonna act like I know every girl from the Bronx, but
Yeah, that's true, Stat. That's really true. Killer made a great point. They gotta claim you. They claim J.Lo though. They definitely can't claim J.Lo.
but do they? But Mace, not to cut you off. Do they claim? Yo, Mace, hold on. Before you get to your next point, I don't mean to interrupt you. Do they claim her after she got famous? That's the difference.
When she was on The Living Color, did they claim her?
Yeah, or even before that, did they? Because when I'm talking about you from it wasn't no superstar shit. You was just from my block. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't want to act like Mace. I'm not gonna act like Mace be a bunch of blocks on. They claim on 150th Street, 133rd. So yeah. So I'm just saying, but that's not M.A. dollar sign. You know what I'm saying? They just fuck with Mace. You know what I'm saying? So that's the question. Did they claim you before the fame?
That's a very good point. Because everybody's gonna want to claim you after the fame.
Point.
Just saying.
Because if she's dancing in Living Color and then they claim her, that ain't from the block.
That shakes. Okay, well, y'all are in agreement. I do want to know what the comments think, because I'm sure they got strong opinions on that as well. Because shoot,
that's real. I thought about that, because when I would hear people say, like, I remember, and I'm praying that he get better. I'm praying that Puff get better. But when he would say he was from Harlem, there would be people like, nah. And I believe he's born there, but that Harlem didn't claim him first. Mount Vernon claimed him first. What you saying, Killer?
No, I'm raising my hand. I can't claim him. I don't know. I don't know the streets. And I don't mean that as disrespect at all. I didn't see it.
I ain't see the tape, so maybe I ain't see the tape. So,
I ain't see it. Like, I was just raising my hand in agreement. I didn't see him. I didn't see him to the parties and all that later on.
I ain't go to the parties. To me, I ain't seen the tapes. So
like, for instance, this is a great conversation, right? Because that's a great point, right? Like even though me and homie and I love the nigga regardless, even though we not the same page, I seen Dame in Harlem. You see niggas in Harlem. You got niggas who ain't from Harlem who be in Harlem. You think about DNY. I thought they was from Harlem when I first met the way they posted on 25th Street every day. Yeah, because Harlem's not like Brooklyn. It's not like you from Canarsie, or they from Bed-Stuy, they from Brownsville, or this person from East New York, or whatever. Harlem is really 110th to 155th, and then you got Pleasant Avenue to Riverside, or Paladino, whichever one you want to claim. It's not that big, so you're going to hear about people who's doing something. So even the Bronx, the Bronx is pretty, but you got to realize Harlem's in Manhattan. We're a neighborhood when you talk about Harlem, it's very, very small. I'm not acting like 3 blocks, but when people say the Bronx, you're talking about the whole borough. People say Brooklyn, you're talking about the whole borough of Brooklyn. People say Queens, you're talking about the whole borough of Queens. So when you say Harlem, the whole borough of Manhattan, we're talking about a neighborhood in Manhattan. So just wanted to be specific on that.
Y'all heard it here first. In comments, let us know your opinion on the conversation, because we want to know what y'all think too.
Yeah, Stat. Harlem is like no other place. It's like no other place. It's the best talkers in the whole world.
It's a fact.
Okay. On to Russell.
The best talkers in the whole world. It's the best talkers in the whole world, and it's the rudest in the whole world. It's rude, man. It's rude, and it's bad, and And it's just to the point where when you get out of it, and don't get me wrong, we love Harlem, still love my niggas, my uncle, all that. But when you think, sometimes I sit back and think about what people say to each other. You got to think about this, right? Think about this, right?
You would call it abuse.
Me and Mace.
It would be abuse.
Yeah, it's verbal abuse. Think about this, that I don't even know if you ever went back and listened to the shit me and Mace used to say on songs about each other. and it's cool.
They like, how can them niggas even be talking to each other right now?
Yeah.
He said what he was supposed to say. He said this about your
That shit regular, yo.
Like, bro, that's what he was supposed to say. I was going to say it about his sister.
Yo, Phil, I seen a nigga tell a nigga, I seen a nigga in the gambling spot tell a nigga, yo, listen, stop talking to me crazy. I saw your mother last night. She bought 3 2-for-5s. Leave me alone. And did it. Then it was serious. Yo, it wasn't even a joke, really. Like, yo. Yo, I saw your mother 3 2-for-5s. Stop talking to me, man. So.
Oh, man.
So now I'm curious, do y'all feel like most of your friendships and relationships were people from Harlem or no?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of them growing up, yeah.
Cam, same for you?
Yeah, listen, let me tell you something. New York, like I say, territorial is very rare. Let's say, for instance, right? We in our neighborhood, and we bring a nigga over from our neighborhood. Niggas in our neighborhood be like, what you doing with them Brooklyn niggas? Like,
yeah.
You bring, like, it be like,
why they
like
over
that. So, yeah, what they do, like, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, a lot of relationships growing up for me is Harlem or the Bronx too. The Bronx, see, to me, the way I look at it is be Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx and Manhattan, talking about structural wise, or like how it's laid out. As far as the map is concerned, you can walk to the Bronx from like the Bronx is right there too. So I would say the Bronx and Manhattan and Harlem is closer, Brooklyn and Queens is closer, but a lot of my relationships growing up is definitely Harlem and the Bronx. Now, as an adult, I'm not really, because to me, it's been kind of tough, right? Like, so it's this dude, I was living in Orlando, and I keep seeing this guy at the gas station. He's like, yo, killer, you know, I did 20 years. You know, I'm from Harlem, I'm from your block, da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, what's up, man? Good to see you. Then I see him again. Same thing. You know, it's Harlem, nigga, this, that, and the third. Nah, we is. Then the next time I see him, he mutual nigga in jail. He said, yo, I spoke to so-and-so. He would appreciate it if you send him something. I say, yo, my man, look, bro. You can stop with the Harlem shit, bro. All right? I don't know you from Harlem, my nigga. We out here with palm trees and shit. Listen, I don't know why I don't want to talk Harlem shit with you, because I don't know you from Harlem. You don't have to keep Harlem and me to death. I don't live there. No disrespect, I go back, but you don't live there. How can you hear? Tell me about some Orlando shit. So when they be new Harlem niggas that I don't know, I don't really be wanting to hear all that, because I ain't meet you in Harlem. And I ain't know you when I was there. That's what I'm saying.
That's that. There's a threshold there. But I like these conversations, because obviously I'm not from New York, so I don't really know how it goes with the boroughs and stuff. So like, I'll be listening to y'all about it to see how it is. And I was like, so do y'all stay around each other? Is it like a you over there, we over here? Like, I don't know. So it's cool insight for me. Okay. So got some news on Russell Wilson. So he officially retired and accepted an offer to join CBS Sports as an analyst. Mace, do you think...
What you just watched wasn't really a debate centered on Jennifer Lopez, and it definitely wasn't only about who has the right to wear the label of a true New Yorker. Beneath the back and forth was a much bigger conversation that most people completely missed. It exposed a deeper question about identity, belonging, and what it actually means to be accepted by a city that has a reputation for testing everyone who steps into it. The argument over whether being born there matters more than living there was only scratching the surface of a far more meaningful discussion about authenticity, community, and the invisible boundaries that separate those who truly belong from those who simply claim the title. When Jennifer Lopez argued that only people born in one of New York City's 5 boroughs deserve to call themselves real New Yorkers, she wasn't just sharing a personal opinion. She was echoing a long-standing mindset that has existed in the city for generations. What made the moment so fascinating was how the rest of the panel responded, especially those who built their lives there without actually being born within the city limits. Their reactions revealed something much bigger about how identity is measured in one of the toughest and most demanding cities in America. This discussion was never really about maps or city borders. It was about legitimacy, about the difference between simply living somewhere and genuinely belonging, between occupying a place and becoming part of its story. One of the first ideas worth unpacking is how time itself becomes a qualification. A panelist who relocated to New York in 2012 explained that longtime locals told him he would finally earn the title of New Yorker after spending 10 years there. That timeline wasn't random. It represented a challenge. New York constantly puts people through trials, whether it's surviving endless subway chaos, brutal winters, daily confrontation, or learning to stand your ground. Spending a decade there isn't just about counting years on a calendar, it's about proving yourself. The city has a way of breaking people down, unlike almost anywhere else, and making it through those hardships becomes part of the price of admission. At the same time, another panelist who actually grew up in the city offered an equally powerful perspective by comparing it to his connection with Florida, where his roots were never questioned. He never had to persuade anyone that he came from Jacksonville because his background spoke for itself. His identity was accepted without debate because it was tied to a place that never demanded evidence. That's where the contrast becomes fascinating. Being from Florida is treated like a simple fact, while claiming New York often feels like entering a negotiation. So many people want to associate themselves with the city because of its status and influence that New Yorkers naturally become protective of who gets to wear that identity. The city almost seems to answer back by refusing to hand out that title so easily. You can't simply arrive, unpack your bags, and expect New York to instantly embrace you as one of its own. That leads to perhaps the strongest point raised during the entire conversation, the idea of being claimed by the people around you. One panelist from Harlem explained it in the simplest yet most powerful way possible when he said, "The real question is whether the community claims you." That single word, claim, carries far more meaning than people realize. In neighborhoods like Harlem, being claimed isn't about paperwork or official labels. It's about recognition, relationships, and history. It means people knew your face before anyone outside the neighborhood ever did. It means someone remembers seeing you on the block as a kid, long before success entered the picture. Your name means something because you were part of the community, not because fame suddenly made you recognizable. The difference between being embraced before success and being embraced after success is where this entire debate reaches its most important point. Today, almost anyone can proudly point to Jennifer Lopez because she's a global superstar, an inspiration, and one of the biggest entertainment icons in the world. But the real question the panel kept circling back to wasn't about who celebrates her now. It was whether the neighborhood embraced her when she was still simply Jenny from the block. Did people know her before the hit records and Hollywood success? Did neighbors recognize her from her days on In Living Color, before international fame changed everything? Based on the experiences shared during that discussion, the panel seemed to believe the answer was no, and that conclusion completely changed the meaning of the entire conversation. The silence surrounding that missing recognition may have been the loudest statement of the entire discussion. As the panel explained, Harlem occupies a unique place among New York's boroughs because it isn't a sprawling borough like Brooklyn or Queens. It's a relatively compact neighborhood within Manhattan, stretching from around 110th Street to 155th Street, between the rivers. In a community that size, the expectation is that familiar faces become part of the neighborhood's collective memory. The panel kept returning to that point because, in their view, Harlem is small enough that anyone making an impression eventually becomes known. That's why the absence of recognition carries so much weight. If nobody remembers you, people naturally begin questioning how connected you really were to the neighborhood. This wasn't simply about street addresses or zip codes. It was about relationships, reputation, and whether your presence left a lasting mark. They described seeing one another around local gambling spots, walking to McDonald's, crossing paths with older kids on neighborhood corners, and recognizing faces even without having personal friendships. Those shared experiences create an unwritten history that ties generations together. In Harlem, you're not just someone who lived there. You become part of an ongoing network of memories and familiar faces that stretches across decades. That shared recognition becomes the neighborhood's unofficial record book. So when someone claims Harlem but nobody can place them, the panel argued it feels almost like introducing yourself at a family reunion where no one knows who you are. They expanded that idea by bringing up Michael Jordan and Carmelo Anthony as examples. Jordan was born in New York but left while he was still young, and Carmelo was born there as well, but never experienced the city's high school basketball culture. According to the panel, neither represents New York in quite the same way as someone who competed at a school like Rice High and built their reputation within the city's basketball community. That comparison highlights something important. The standard isn't limited to birthplace alone. What truly matters is where your character, relationships, and experiences were formed. The panel argued that New York shapes people through its schools, neighborhoods, and daily challenges. If those experiences never became part of your life, then even being born there doesn't automatically mean the city molded who you became. One panelist even suggested attending school in New York from roughly 4th grade through 12th grade should be the benchmark for earning the title. His point wasn't really about academics. School is where lifelong friendships begin, rivalries develop, reputations spread, and people become woven into the fabric of a neighborhood. Those are the years when accents, attitudes, instincts, and local culture become second nature. Without that essence, the panel argued the claim to Harlem just doesn't hold. And that narrative is why a claim to Harlem caught so many attentions and felt as different from claiming any other borough during that discussion. Without that level of immersion, the panel believed someone remains more of a visitor than a true product of the city. The conversation also showed how incredibly specific New York identity can become. They joked that in Harlem, loyalty could change from one block to the next, with someone from 140th Street feeling completely different from someone living only a block away on 141st Street. It may sound unbelievable to outsiders, but that hyper-local mindset reflects just how deeply neighborhood identity runs. In New York, saying you're from Manhattan isn't enough. People want to know exactly which part shaped you. Their discussion about Diddy offered another example of that same philosophy. Even though he was born in Harlem, some people on the panel argued that Mount Vernon ultimately became the place that truly claimed him. Their reasoning was that where you're raised and recognized can matter more than where you happen to be born. In their eyes, Harlem never fully embraced him because his most formative years and reputation were established somewhere else. That naturally led to the bigger question: what actually creates an authentic New York identity? One panelist firmly believed birth settled the debate, insisting that being born in New York automatically makes someone a New Yorker. Others strongly disagreed, pointing out that even people born there can lose that connection if the community never truly embraces them. That disagreement became one of the most thought-provoking moments in the entire exchange. Another panelist, who was born in New York but now lives elsewhere, added an even more nuanced perspective. He explained that while he still carries the city's mentality and even continues paying taxes connected to it, he doesn't believe the label means much if the community itself no longer recognizes you. That idea shifted the discussion away from paperwork and towards something much more personal. Identity, according to the panel, exists because other people acknowledge it. By the end of the conversation, they seemed to arrive at a definition that tied all those viewpoints together. Their conclusion was simple: if the people in your neighborhood genuinely claim you, then you're from there. That standard places the final authority in the hands of the community rather than the individual. You don't award yourself that identity; the people who watched you grow up do. That explains why one panelist dismissed talking to a stranger about Harlem by saying he didn't know that person from the neighborhood. From his perspective, the stranger's claim lacked the one ingredient that mattered most: shared history. Without mutual recognition, common experiences, and collective memory, the connection simply wasn't authentic. That's the unwritten rule they kept returning to throughout the discussion. Perhaps the sharpest point came when the conversation returned to Jennifer Lopez. The panel argued that it's easy for neighborhoods to celebrate someone after global success arrives, because everyone wants to be connected to a winner. But they questioned whether she was embraced when she was simply a local girl trying to make it, long before fame transformed her into an international superstar. If that recognition only appeared afterward, then the claim feels less like genuine pride and more like rewriting history. One final observation tied everything together. A panelist recalled seeing Diddy around parties without actually knowing him personally, using that memory to explain how visibility works in Harlem. In a tightly connected community, people notice who is around and who isn't. If very few people can honestly testify that they remember seeing you, the neighborhood naturally begins questioning whether you were ever truly part of its story in the first place. The reason the panel's perspective carried so much weight is because they weren't speaking from theory, they were speaking from lived experience. They grew up there, people watched them grow up, and their names were part of the neighborhood long before this conversation ever happened. Their credibility wasn't built on a birth certificate alone. It came from years of being present, recognized, and accepted by the people who actually lived around them. In their eyes, that's a level of authenticity that can't simply be claimed overnight. Their comparison between Harlem and New York's other boroughs made that point even stronger. When someone says Brooklyn, Queens, or the Bronx, they're usually referring to an entire borough with millions of people. But Harlem is a single neighborhood inside Manhattan, making it far smaller and much more interconnected. Because of that, the expectation is different. If you're truly from Harlem, the chances are high that somebody will remember your face, your family, or your story. And if nobody does, the panel believes that naturally raises questions. Another interesting layer of the discussion was how they described friendships in New York. They talked about the constant joking, trash talk, and verbal sparring that outsiders might mistake for genuine hostility. Yet inside those friendships, that rough communication is often a sign of trust rather than disrespect. One panelist explained that he and a close friend could even throw insults at each other through music and still be completely fine afterward. That kind of blunt honesty, they argued, is simply part of the city's personality. New York's culture isn't polished or overly sentimental. It's direct, loud, and sometimes brutally honest. But there's a strange authenticity in that approach. People rarely leave you guessing where you stand because they'll usually tell you exactly what they're thinking. That rough exterior becomes part of the city's identity, and for many locals, it's one of the clearest signs that someone truly understands New York culture rather than just admiring it from the outside. The panel also explained how neighborhood loyalty extends into everyday social situations. They described bringing someone from Brooklyn into a Harlem gathering and immediately being asked why that person was there. It wasn't necessarily meant as hostility or exclusion. Instead, it reflects a culture where neighborhood identity is taken seriously, and people naturally notice when someone enters a space where they don't share the same history. Those invisible boundaries become part of how communities protect their identity. One panelist said that most of his closest friendships growing up were with people from Harlem or the Bronx, and that detail wasn't accidental. Friendships often develop through shared schools, familiar streets, neighborhood routines, and common experiences. Those people become witnesses to your life. They can honestly say they remember you because they lived through many of the same moments. That's the kind of recognition the panel believes creates genuine belonging. The story about the man in Orlando perfectly illustrated that idea. According to the panelist, the man kept trying to start conversations about Harlem until he finally responded by saying they were surrounded by palm trees now and that he didn't know him from Harlem anyway. The message wasn't really about Orlando itself. It was about the fact that simply talking about a place doesn't create a connection to it. Geography, memory, and shared experience all matter. That exchange reinforced one of the biggest themes from the discussion. The Orlando man's claim meant very little because there was no shared history to support it. Without mutual recognition or collective memory, words alone couldn't establish authenticity. From the panel's perspective, belonging has to be validated by people who actually lived that experience with you. Everything ultimately circles back to the central idea behind the entire conversation. In New York, identity isn't something you simply announce for yourself. It's something the community grants after years of seeing you, knowing you, and remembering your presence. The streets, the neighborhood, and the people become the ones who verify your story. Without that acknowledgement, a personal claim doesn't carry nearly the same weight. The panel described that process through everyday examples that outsiders might overlook. The neighborhood corners have to remember seeing you. The late-night McDonald's strips should include familiar faces who recognize you. Shared memories become the proof that you were genuinely part of the community. Without those experiences, someone may have technically lived there, but never truly became woven into the neighborhood's identity. That difference is exactly where the panel parted ways with Jennifer Lopez's original argument. They never disputed that she was born in the Bronx, because that's a matter of public record. Their hesitation centered on whether the community itself embraced and remembered her before fame changed everything. For them, being claimed by the people who knew you mattered more than simply arriving in a hospital within city limits. By that standard, the conversation becomes much more complicated than birthplace alone. Some people born in New York may never build those lasting community connections, while others who arrive later could eventually earn them through years of participation and shared experience. The panel wasn't rejecting birthright altogether. They were arguing that community recognition ultimately carries greater significance than biology. In the end, the discussion leaves us with a lesson that reaches far beyond New York itself. Belonging is never automatic, regardless of where you're born or when you arrive. It has to be earned through participation, relationships, visibility, and genuine connection with the people around you. Real communities remember those who consistently show up, contribute, and become part of their story. A city doesn't hand out identity like a tourist souvenir the moment you arrive. It makes people prove themselves over time until they become part of its history rather than just its population. And when that acceptance finally comes, it offers something no official document can ever provide: the feeling that you're connected to something bigger than yourself, surrounded by people who genuinely know you, remember you, and proudly consider you one of their own. In many ways, that's the deepest definition of being a New Yorker, and perhaps the truest definition of belonging anywhere.